Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Thursday, February 27th, 2020. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's college basketball, NBA, and NHL games. Look ahead to tonight and the weekend slate in each of those sports, since I'm not doing a podcast tomorrow. Golf, NASCAR, look ahead for the weekend. My mock bracket, my recap last night from Masked Singer and Lego Masters. I want to talk about the Yankees injury situations, and I'll have my best bets for tonight. Okay, we'll start in college basketball. A lot of games last night, a lot of games tonight as well. So, without further ado, here we go. The number 12 Villanova Wildcats defeat St. John's 71-60. South Carolina over Georgia 90-94 in overtime. Number 16 Penn State over Rutgers 65-64. Virginia over Virginia Tech 56-53. Syracuse over Pitt 72-49. South Florida over East Carolina 73-68 in overtime. UConn over UCF 81-65. Duquesne over St. Bonaventure 81-77 in overtime. Rhode Island over Fordham 76-75. Richmond over George Washington 73-70. UMass over VCU 60-52. Manhattan over Marist 65-56. Siena over Quinnipiac 84-77. American over Lafayette 79-59. Army over Holy Cross 67-61. Lehigh over BU 57-55 in overtime. Bucknell over Colgate 71-70. Navy over Loyola Maryland 62-57. Binghamton over UMBC 76-74. Hartford over Stony Brook 64-54. New Hampshire over Maine 77-60. UMass Lowell over Albany 88-69. Bradley over Illinois State 74-71 in overtime. Purdue Fort Wayne over Denver 58-51. Chattanooga over VMI 71-64. Mercer over Citadel 73-57. East Tennessee State over Wofford 60-54. Furman over UNC Greensboro 81-61. Western Carolina over Sanford 109-78. McNeese over Southeast Louisiana 104-82. Stephen F. Boston over Northwestern State 90-59. Lamar over Incarnate Word 86-66. Nichols over Houston Baptist 93-85. A&M Corpus Christi over New Orleans 81-75. Omaha over North Dakota 84-83 in overtime. Louisiana over Arkansas State 77-74. Northern Iowa over Evansville 84-64. Indiana State over Southern Illinois 77-68. Marquette over Georgetown 93-72. Abilene Christian over Sam Houston State 85-69. Arkansas over Tennessee 86-69. Number 9 Maryland over Minnesota 74-73. Missouri over Vanderbilt 61-52. Florida over LSU 81-66. Notre Dame over Boston College 62-61. St. Louis over St. Joe's 76-63. Air Force over New Mexico 60-58. Cal Baptist over Utah Valley 73-66. Stanford over Utah 70-62. Cal State Northridge over Long Beach State 73-64. UNLV over Boise State 76-66. Tonight's slate, 6 o'clock, CBS Sports Network, Delaware at Charleston. Charleston's favored by 4. I have a Delaware by a half, so give me Delaware plus the 4. Winthrop at SC Upstate, 7 o'clock ESPN 2. Wisconsin at number 9 Michigan. Michigan is favored by a whopping 6.5. I would make this line Michigan by 2.5. So I'm taking Wisconsin plus all those points. Radford at Hampton on ESPNU. Radford's a 6-point favorite. And that's what I have it as well. So at gunpoint, who do I take? Radford. UNC Asheville at High Point. Longoid at Presbyterian. Drexel at UNC Wilmington. Towson at Hofstra. Iona at Canisius. St. Peter's at Niagara. Indiana at Purdue on Fox Sports 1. Purdue is a whopping 6-point favorite. I would make this line Indiana by 1.5. So give me Indiana and all those points. I think Indiana wins the game straight up. Jacksonville at Florida Gulf Coast. NJIT at North Alabama. Liberty at Kennesaw State. North Florida at Stetson. Oakland at IUPUI. Bryan at Fairleigh Dickinson. Central Connecticut State at Merrimack. Wagner at LIU. Mount St. Mary's at St. Francis, Pennsylvania. St. Francis Brooklyn at Sacred Heart. Central Michigan at Miami of Ohio. North Texas at FIU. UTSA at FAU. Yale Monroe at Little Rock at 7:30. Gardner Webb at Charleston Southern. 8 o'clock Big Ten Network. Illinois at Northwestern. Illinois is a 6-point road favorite. I would make this game Illinois by 13. So give me the Fighting Illini minus the 6. 8 o'clock ESPN. Wichita State hosts Temple. Wichita State is a 9.5-point favorite. I would make this game 8.5 Wichita State. So give me Temple because the number is 1 point off in my opinion. Montana at Northern Arizona. James Madison at Northeastern. Cleveland State at Milwaukee. Detroit Mercy at UIC. Youngstown State at Green Bay. Tennessee Tech at Belmont. Eastern Kentucky at Murray State. Louisiana Tech at Western Kentucky. Marshall at UAB. Eastern Illinois at Southeast Missouri State. Jacksonville State at Tennessee State at 8:30. Morehead State at Austin P. Western Illinois at Oral Roberts. SIU Edwardsville at Tennessee Martin. 9 o'clock. San Diego at number 3 Gonzaga. Gonzaga is favored by a whopping 25 points. I would make it 24. So actually Gonzaga's 25.5, so I'm a half point off. So give me San Diego to cover that big number, but not by much. Pac-12 Network, number 21 Colorado at Cal. Colorado is a 8-point favorite on the road. I personally would make this line shorter than that projected line. I actually have it at 5.5. Is that right? Yeah, 5.5. So give me Cal plus the 8. ESPN 2, number 23 Ohio State at Nebraska. I would make this line Ohio State by 9.5, and that's what the line is. So gunpoint, who do you take? Ohio State, I think, is due for a good road performance, so at gunpoint I take Ohio State. South Dakota State at North Dakota State. New Mexico State at Grand Canyon. Eastern Washington at Southern Utah. Idaho at Northern Colorado. Portland State at Idaho State. 10 o'clock ESPN, Arizona at USC. This is a great game. A game that USC needs. I'd make them a 1.5-point home favorite. So I'm going to take them to win the game outright and obviously cover the 6. Pacific at Loyola Marymount. Pacific's a 1.5-point favorite. I have Pacific by 7.5, so give me Pacific minus the 1.5. Portland at San Francisco. San Francisco's favored by 17. I have it 14, so give me Portland in the points. St. Mary's at Santa Clara on CBS Sports Network. St. Mary's is a 6-point favorite. I have St. Mary's by 5. So give me Santa Clara plus the 6. Texas Rio Grande at Cal State Bakersfield. Montana State at Sacramento State. 11 o'clock. Oregon State at number 14, Oregon. I would make this line Oregon by 10.5, and it's 10. So give me Oregon minus the points. Pac-12 Network, Arizona State at UCLA. That is a huge game. UCLA is favored by 3.5. I'd make it UCLA by 1.5. So give me Arizona State plus the 3.5. Maybe they lose a close one at Pauley Pavilion. ESPNU, UC Irvine at Cal Poly. Big West game on ESPNU. I would make this game UC Irvine by 11, and it's 11.5. So give me Cal Poly plus the points. UC Santa Barbara at UC Riverside and Cal State Fullerton at Hawaii. Friday through Sunday, I'm just going to pick straight up because I don't have time to do all my numbers and whatnot, and plus the projections change. CBS Sports Network, 6:30, Kent State at Ohio. My pick straight up in this game would be Kent State. ESPN 2, Davidson at number 4, Dayton. Georgia Southern, Georgia State. Wright State at Northern Kentucky. Quinnipiac at Fairfield. Actually, Wright State, Northern Kentucky is ESPNU. That's a fantastic game for the Horizon League, and it's on ESPNU. So good on that league, and I'm going to pick Northern Kentucky to win outright. And back to the regular slate. Canadian Fairfield, Santa Maris. Brown hosts Princeton. ESPN News, Harvard at Columbia. I'm going to take Harvard to win. Dartmouth at Cornell. Penn at Yale. Monmouth at Rider on ESPNU at 9 o'clock. Give me Rider to win. New Jersey battle there. Washington State at Washington Friday night on Fox Sports 1. Bad game. I think Washington will finally get off the schneid here and win. And ESPN 2, Texas State at Texas Arlington. I'm going to pick Texas State to win that on the road. Saturday, 12 o'clock on Fox. Providence at number 12, Villanova. 12 o'clock, Big Ten Network, number 16, Penn State, number 18, Iowa. ESPN, Texas at Texas Tech. Texas Tech, by the way, is 22. ESPN 2, A&M at LSU. ACC Network, Pitt at NC State. Army at Colgate, Detroit Mercy at IUPUI. Central Michigan at Eastern Michigan. Bucknell at Boston University. St. Francis, Brooklyn at Central Constant at 1 o'clock. St. Francis, Pennsylvania at Robert Morris. Iona at Niagara. Fordham at St. Joe's. I'm going to take St. Joe's in the battle of awful teams from the A10. Jacksonville at Stetson. NJIT at Kennesaw State. Binghamton at New Hampshire. UMBC at Maine. North Alabama at Florida Gulf Coast. High Point at Winthrop. Vandy at Ole Miss on the SEC Network. Give me Ole Miss at home. 1:30 CBS, number 1 Kansas at Kansas State. Kansas will win. ESPN, number 2 Baylor at TCU. Baylor. ACC Network, number 6 Florida State at Clemson. Florida State in a close one. ESPNU, UConn at East Carolina. UConn. ESPN 2, Florida at Tennessee. Florida. Liberty at Lipscomb, St. Bonaventure at LaSalle. Give me Bonaventure on the road. Akron at Buffalo, Bryant at Wagner, St. Pete at Canisius, Navy at Lafayette, Ball State at Toledo, Illinois State at Evansville. Give me Evansville in the battle of trash chants from the Mountain Valley, or Missouri Valley. Valpo at Indiana State. Loyola Chicago at Bradley. American at Holy Cross. 2:30 on Fox, number 13 Seton Hall at Marquette. Give me Marquette at home. They'll be favored in that game, I think, from a Vegas perspective. 3 o'clock Eastern Illinois at SIU Edwardsville. Louisiana at Little Rock. Western Illinois at Denver. 3:30 Bowling Green at Miami of Ohio. Sacred Heart hosts LIU. SEC Network, Missouri hosts Mississippi State. Give me Mississippi State on the road. 3:45 CBS, number 15 Auburn at number 8 Kentucky. I'm going to take Kentucky at home in that one. ESPN 2, 4 o'clock Oklahoma at number 20 West Virginia. I think this is the spot where West Virginia finally gets off the schneid and gets a win. North Carolina at Syracuse on ESPN. Syracuse. Notre Dame at Wake on ACC Network. Notre Dame. ESPNU, Iowa State at Oklahoma State. Let's go with an upset, sort of. Oklahoma State. George Washington at VCU on the CBS Sports Network. VCU. Lon at William and Mary. James Madison at Hofstra. Drexel at Charleston. Charleston Southern at Presbyterian. Gardner Webb at Radford. Fairleigh Dickinson at Mount St. Mary's. NC Central at SC State. Coppin State at Morgan State. Delaware State at Maryland Eastern. The Citadel at Furman. Western Carolina at East Tennessee State. Portland, Santa Clara. I will take Santa Clara. New Orleans at Nichols. Southern Illinois at Missouri State. Air Force at Colorado State. UIC hosts Oakland. 4:30 Coastal Carolina at App State. North Dakota, South Dakota. Central Arkansas, Abilene Christian. UNC Greensboro, Chattanooga. Wofford, Mercer. South Carolina, Upstate, Hampton. UNC Asheville, Campbell. Northern Illinois, Western Michigan. VMI, Stanford at 5 o'clock. Southeast Missouri State at Tennessee Martin. Northwestern State at Southeast Louisiana. Lehigh at Loyola, Maryland. UNLV at San Jose State. Omaha, North Dakota State. Lamar at Stephen F. Austin at 5:30. Vermont, UMass Lowell. 6 o'clock ESPN, number 7 Duke at Virginia. I think this is a bounce-back spot for Duke after a couple of rough losses here. CBS Sports Network, number 17 BYU at Pepperdine. Give me BYU. Pac-12 Network, Utah, Cal, Utah. Penn at Brown. Harvard at Cornell. UMass at Richmond. Give me Richmond. UCF at Tulsa on ESPNU, Tulsa. Montana State at Northern Arizona. Arkansas at Georgia on the SEC Network, Arkansas. ESPN2 Northern Iowa at Drake, Northern Iowa. Alabama State at Prairie View. 6:30 Incarnate Word at A&M Corpus Christi. Southern at Alcorn State. Arkansas Pine Bluff at Grambling. Mississippi Valley State at Jackson State. Howard at Norfolk State. Fox Sports 1, DePaul at Butler. 7 o'clock George Mason at Duquesne. Princeton at Yale. Dartmouth at Columbia. Delaware at UNC Wilmington. Stony Brook at Albany. West State at Eastern Kentucky. Troy at South Alabama. Wyoming at Fresno State. Number 5, San Diego State at Nevada on ESPNU at 8 o'clock or 2. Give me San Diego State. ESPN number 24, Michigan State at number 9, Maryland. Game day should be there and not at Duke or whatever, Virginia. I'm sorry, that's just wrong. Give the Big Ten some love, and I think Maryland, revenge spot for Michigan State. I think that's going to be the narrative here, but I love Maryland. This is the best team of the Big Ten, and I think they can go on a run. McNeese at Houston Baptist, Purdue Fort Wayne at Oral Roberts, Tennessee Tech at Jacksonville State, Austin Peay at Murray State, Chicago State at UMKC, Texas Rio Grande at Grand Canyon, Youngstown State at Milwaukee, San Francisco at Loyola Marymount. I'm going to take San Francisco on the road. ESPNU, Arizona State at USC. Give me the Trojans at home in a spot that they have to have. Long Beach State at UC Davis, Cleveland State at Green Bay, Memphis at Tulane on CBS Sports Network. Give me Memphis. Miami at Georgia Tech at ACC Network, Miami. 8:30 SEC Network, South Carolina at Alabama, South Carolina. Bama A&M at Texas Southern, Belmont at Tennessee State. 9 o'clock Eastern, Washington at Northern Colorado, Idaho at Southern Utah. Portland State at Weber State, ESPN2, St. Mary's at number 3, Gonzaga. UC Santa Barbara at UC Irvine. That's a great game in the Big West. Give me UC Irvine at home. 10 o'clock ESPN, Arizona at UCLA. Give me UCLA at home. They need it more to improve their at-large chances. Cal State Fullerton at Cal State Northridge. CBS Sports Network, Utah State at New Mexico. Give me New Mexico. Actually, no, Utah State. Pacific at San Diego. Give me Pacific. Seattle at Cal Baptist. New Mexico State at Cal State Bakersfield. Montana at Sacramento State. And last but not least for Saturday, UC Riverside at Hawaii. Sunday slate is a lot smaller. 12 o'clock Fox Sports 1, number 10 Creighton at St. John's from Madison Square Garden. It's from the Karasenko Arena. That's right. Rangers Flyers is at MSG on Sunday. So St. John's gets moved to their Leicester Arena. So give me Creighton on the road to avoid the trap. South Florida at Temple. 1 o'clock ESPN. Cincinnati at number 25 Houston. 2 o'clock CBS Georgetown, Xavier. Big Ten Network, Indiana at Illinois. Ryder Fairfield, Manhattan, Monmouth, Marist, Quinnipiac, FIU, Charlotte, Western Kentucky, North Texas, FAU, Old Dominion, ESPNU, St. Louis at Rhode Island. Great game in the A-10. Give me Rhode Island. 3 o'clock UAB at UTSA, Middle Tennessee at Rice. 4 o'clock CBS, number 19 Michigan, number 23 Ohio State. Fantastic game in the Big Ten. Give me Ohio State. Southern Miss at UTEP, Towson, Northeastern, Wichita State at SMU on ESPNU. Give me Wichita State on the road. 4:15 Big Ten Network, Northwestern, Nebraska, the 2 trash teams in the Big Ten. Give me Nebraska. 6 o'clock ACC Network, Virginia Tech at number 11 Louisville. Give me Louisville. ESPNU, number 21 Colorado at Stanford. Colorado. 6:30 Big Ten Network, Minnesota at Wisconsin. Give me Wisconsin. So that's it for college basketball for the weekend. On to the NBA we go. Hornets over the Knicks, 107-101. Cavs over the Sixers, 108-94. Wizards over the Nets, 110-106. Timberwolves over the Heat, 129-126. Magic over the Hawks, 130-120. Rockets over the Grizzlies, 140-112. Mavs over the Spurs, 109-103. Clippers over the Suns, 102-92. Celtics over the Jazz, 114-103. Only 4 games tonight. 7 o'clock, you have the Knicks at the 76ers. 8 o'clock on TNT, you have the Trailblazers at the Pacers. Obviously, no Damian Lillard, which will see a inflation on the line. I would make this normally Indy by 8, but no Lillard, and Lillard's worth 5 points. So Indy by 13. No Depot, who's worth a couple points, but the line here says 9.5, but I'm going to lay with Indy because of no Lillard. Kings at the Thunder, and then 10 o'clock on TNT. Lakers at the Warriors. No LeBron James. He is worth a ton. 6 points on the spread. I would normally would make this game an astonishing 23 on a neutral. 20 minus 7, 13 this comes out to for the Lakers. And if Davis were not to play, it would be Lakers by 10. And it's 9.5. So I'm going to lay the 9.5 with the Lakers for now. Friday slate, Timberwolves at the Magic, Hornets at the Raptors, Nets at the Hawks at 7:30, 8 o'clock ESPN, Thunder at the Bucks. Fantastic game. I'm going to pick the Bucks. Mavs at the Heat, Cavs at the Pelicans, Kings at the Grizzlies, Pistons at the Suns at 9 o'clock, Wizards at the Jazz, 10:30 ESPN, another fantastic game, Nuggets at the Clippers. I'm going to take the Clippers at home in a close game. Saturday, 5 o'clock, Bulls at the Knicks from the Garden, 7:30 Trailblazers at the Hawks, Nets at the Heat, 8 o'clock, Lakers at the Grizzlies, Pacers at the Cavs, 8:30 Magic at the Spurs, ABC Rockets at the Celtics, Mark Jones, CB Brown, Celtics at home. Jason Tatum is playing like a top 15 player in the NBA right now, so give me the Celts at home. 9 o'clock Warriors at the Suns, Sunday. 1 o'clock Bucks at the Hornets, 3:30 Mavs, Timberwolves, ABC, 76ers, Clippers, Mike Breen, Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy on the call. It's funny that the big three have been getting more Sunday games lately. I think it's because of the whole Kobe thing that they had to move them to Sunday rather than Saturday nights, because they obviously had to call the Lakers game against Portland because of Kobe, and they couldn't do that Saturday night game. And then they had to call that Celtics-Lakers game because the Kobe Memorial was the next day, and plus that was just a flat-out better game than Sixers-Bucks. And that's I don't think that's the case here. I think the better game of the two, honestly, is Rockets-Celtics. I just think that they put this here because they still think the Sixers are this awesome team. So give me the Clippers at home because the Sixers always struggle on the road against good teams. And against bad teams, too. And there's going to be no Ben Simmons and maybe no Joel Embiid, too. 6 o'clock Pistons, Kings, Raptors, Nuggets. 8 o'clock ESPN, Lakers, Pelicans. Upset special, guys. Going with the Pelicans at home in a revenge spot. Zion will lead the way in Anthony Davis' second Pelicans return this year. And I can't wait to bet on the Pelicans on Sunday. And then 8:30, the Wizards at the Warriors. NHL, 3 games last night. Avs over the Sabres, 3-2. Golden Knights over the Oilers, 3-0, and Kings over the Pens, 2-1. Tonight's late, 7 o'clock Rangers, Canadiens, Blackhawks, Lightning, Maple Leafs, Panthers, NBCSN Stars at the Bruins. Give me the Bruins at home. Canucks, Senators, Wild, Red Wings, 8 o'clock Islanders, Blues, Flames, Predators, Capitals, Jets, 10:30 Devils at the Sharks. Pete DeBoer Bowl. The two teams that fired Pete DeBoer. Friday, 7 o'clock Rangers, Flyers, Wild, Blue Jackets, Avalanche, Hurricanes, 10 o'clock Sabres, Golden Knights, Penguins, Ducks. Saturday, 1 o'clock Bruins, Islanders, 4 o'clock Flames, Lightning, Devils, Kings, 6 o'clock Blackhawks, Panthers, so Joel Quenneville against his ex-team. 7 o'clock Canucks, Maple Leafs, Hurricanes, Canadiens, Red Wings, Senators, Avs, Predators. 8 o'clock Stars, Blues, Sabres, Coyotes. I almost combined those two names. 10 o'clock Jets, Oilers, and 10:30 Penguins, Sharks. Sunday, 12 o'clock NBC, Flyers, Rangers from the Garden, Doc Emrick, Eddie Olczyk, Brian Boucher. Give me the Rangers at home. They're playing a lot better. They need this game to catch Philly and the rest of the Eastern Conference. They're 4 back as we're speaking right now. They need all these games over the weekend. They've been playing well against their conference/division of late, with the exception of Boston, meaning from a results standpoint. And they've been playing very well to get themselves back in the playoff position. I think that motivated them to re-sign Chris Kreider. So give me the Rangers at home in a big spot. 4 o'clock Flames Panthers, 7 o'clock Canucks Blue Jackets, 8 o'clock NBCSN Capitals Wild. Give me the Caps on the road. Devils Ducks, and 10:30 NBCSN Kings Golden Knights. Golden Knights at home should be able to win. Now I want to talk about the injuries with the New York Yankees for a minute. 2 days ago, it was announced that Luis Severino is getting Tommy John surgery out for the 2020 season. Big blow for the Yankees. I thought he'd be their second or third best starter this year. Now James Paxton on the shelf too. Masahiro Tanaka is now their number 2. Jay Happ's now their number 3. Not ideal. And then obviously Garrett Cole at the top. And then 4 and 5 have to be unknowns. Jordan Montgomery, maybe it's going to be Luis Sessa or Michael King, Davey Garcia, all these unknowns. Jordan Montgomery we saw in 2017 as a rookie pitcher. He wasn't terrible. So he'll obviously get a spot. And then they have Domingo Germán, who obviously got suspended because of domestic violence. He's going to be gone to start the season too. And he had a fantastic year last year. And so his loss is now even bigger. And that's what made the Garrett Cole signing now looks bigger than ever. And then Giancarlo Stanton is likely to start the season on the injured list due to a grade 1 quad injury. That's brutal. He was in consideration to be my pick for the American League Comeback Player of the Year. There goes that pick with that injury. So I don't think his loss is as huge as Severino's personally, because their offense is still good. But my question with the Yankees offense is guys like Giovanni Urshela, DJ LeMahieu, Mike Tauchman, will they all repeat last year? I think if they hit on one of those guys this year, they should be fine. And I think that Miguel Andujar is somebody that is a bounce-back candidate for this offense. And in theory, Aaron Judge, and that's assuming that he starts the season in the lineup and not on the injured list, because he hasn't seen a pitch in spring training due to a shoulder problem. So Aaron Judge is kind of an unknown at this point. I need to see him take the field and see a pitch before I consider him a lock for opening day. But in theory, you're expecting better numbers from Aaron Judge from last year. So I think they can survive the Stanton loss as long as guys like Andujar and Urshela, Tauchman step up. And Brett Gardner and LeMahieu. So, yeah. And then another injury just came down that I want to discuss. Chris Sale will be starting the season on the injured list due to pneumonia. And that is just an enormous blow for the Boston Red Sox. Like, I think that can cost them 3 or 4 wins. And I was thinking about making a case for them to at least surprise from a standpoint of a win total standpoint, but now I don't feel good about that prediction. Now I think it's more likely that they finish under 500 than finish closer to the second wild card. So with that injury, that's humongous. Like, that's arguably bigger than Luis Severino for the Yankees, to be quite honest. Like, Chris Sale is the only good pitcher on the Boston Red Sox staff. I mean, that's a little bit of an overstatement, but the only established pitcher in terms of an ace. But he's gone to start the season. That's a gigantic loss for the Boston Red Sox. Now I want to talk about my mock bracket that I made. I'm going to be very, very quick here. Took me a while to make. Picking teams. The bubble is weaker than ever. So you're going to see some underachieving bad teams from Power 5 schools in the tournament. most likely. So without further ado, here we go. Number 1 overall seed in the Midwest, the Kansas Jayhawks. Number 2 overall seed in the Southwest, number 1 in the South, Baylor. Number 1 seed in the West, 3 overall, Gonzaga. Number 4 overall seed, 1 seed in the East, San Diego State. 2 seeds, East Maryland, Midwest State, and South Florida State, West Creighton. 3 seeds, Midwest Kentucky, East Duke, West Louisville, South Seton Hall. 4 seeds, East Villanova, West Auburn, Midwest Colorado, South LSU. 5 seeds, South Penn State, East Michigan State, Midwest Michigan, West Oregon. 6 seeds, Midwest Houston, East West Virginia, South Iowa, West Butler. 7 seeds, Midwest Texas Tech, West Illinois, Ohio State, and East Arizona. 8 seeds, East Virginia, South Florida, West Rhode Island, Midwest Marquette. 9 seeds, East St. Mary's, West Oklahoma, South Wichita State, Midwest BYU. 10 seeds, Midwest Wisconsin, West Arizona State, East Xavier, South Utah State. 11 seeds, East UCLA, Midwest Rutgers, South Cincinnati, West East Tennessee State. 12 seeds, play-in game South, Tulsa and USC. Play-in game West, Furman, Indiana. Midwest Northern Iowa, East Liberty. 13 seeds, East Bowling Green, West North Texas, South Wright State, West Belmont. 14 seeds, South New Mexico State, West Yale, East Vermont, Midwest Hofstra. 15 seeds, West Montana, South Radford, East Stephen F. Austin, West Little Rock. 16 seeds, West South Dakota State, South Colgate, East play-in game St. Peter's, Merrimack, West play-in game NCAT, Prairie View, A&M. Now I'm going to talk about the Honda Classic for the weekend. It's underway right now. Brendan Steele currently in first place with a -4. Second place, Zach Johnson with a -3. -2. In third place, Adam Long. You got Sam Burns and Seb Straka. Ricky Palmer tied for 7th right now. It's updated by the second. And then we got a lot of guys still to come. My pick to win this is actually going to be Ricky Fowler. I considered Brooks Koepka. He's probably the best golfer in the world right now, between him and Rory McIlroy. But this tournament, I'm going to go with Ricky Palmer. Now I'm going to talk about NASCAR for the weekend. Qualifying has not happened yet. The race for this weekend is the California, it looks like. Yes. It's at 3:30 on Fox. My pick to win the race, I'm going to go with Ryan Blaney. He's raced very well his first 2 weeks. And I think that he finally sees the checkered flag and wins the race. So that's going to be my pick. All right, Mass Singer last night. The contestant that was voted off was the Mouse, and predictably so. It was Dionne Warwick. All the judges guessed her, with the exception of one Ken Jeong who guessed Tina Turner. The Banana was pretty good. I'm still getting country vibes. And what's weird is that there was a hint about Blowfish last week, and then this contestant said Hold My Hand, which is a Hootie and the Blowfish song, and obviously Darius Rucker. I think that's weird. I wouldn't rule that out, even though it sounds nothing like Darius, but all of his clues hint country, but he's obviously singing a different genre of music to throw us off. This is very reminiscent of T-Pain when he was singing non-rap stuff, like Stay With Me in the monster costume in the first season. And I still think that could be Keith Urban. Larry the Cable Guy, Ed Helm, and Billy Bob Thornton were among the guesses by the judges. The Frog, there's basketball hints. Hollywood Star. $19 is weird. I think it's Kevin Hart. Ken Jeong thinks it's Kevin Hart. The guest judge, Gabriel, and Jenny McCarthy, they both think that Alfonso Rivero is under the frog mask. And Robin thinks it's Omaria. Taco. I still think it's former Full House star Dave Coulier, who played Joey Gladstone. Just from like a comedy standpoint, his voice. There was speculation last week that it could have been Regis, but I think this is too young to be Regis. Could be Bob Saget. Ken Jeong guessed Alec Baldwin. I could totally see Alec doing this, by the way. Seth MacFarlane was Jenny McCarthy's guest. Ted Danson was a guest by the guest judge. The Kitty. I think it's somebody that's been through a lot in her life, somebody that hasn't really been around much in a while. Her voice reminds me of Kelly Clarkson. One of the judges guessed Amanda Seyfried from Mamma Mia. Ken Jeong guessed Sarah Hyland. Millie Bobby Brown was Jenny McCarthy's guest. And then obviously the mouse was unmasked and ended up being, predictably so, Dionne Warwick. Now I'm going to talk about Lego Masters. Last night's episode was movie genres, as each team was given a movie and had to construct a scene that demonstrates a certain genre. And after the initial build, the teams were assigned a second genre and must add on to their existing build to combine their two genres. And this episode guest starred Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. The couple, or I should say the pair that got eliminated, was a son and father, Manny and Nestor, who was at risk in week 1. Amy and Crystal, who were friends, was at risk. Mark and Boone won. They're friends, and they were safe the first 3 weeks. And the other people that were safe were Aaron and Christian, who were friends, Jeremiah and Mel, who were friends, Richard and Flynn, who were married, Sam and Jessica, who are friends, and Tyler and Amy, who are newlyweds. Now I'm going to do my best bets of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. I went 0-2 yesterday, which sucked. But without further ado, here we go. College basketball, I am going to take the, who did I say that I liked in college basketball? Oh, Indiana. I think that's a lock. Like, Purdue is not good. I don't get it with the overvalue and steaming plumbing of Purdue. Indiana needs this game to get in at large. I think there's a chance they're in Dayton, and they got to win this game if they want to avoid Dayton. So give me Indiana. And then in the NBA, I discussed the Indiana line. I discussed Lakers Golden State. It went to 10, by the way, from 9.5. I'd make it 13 without LeBron. Or I'm sorry, 14. Knicks, Sixers. It's Sixers by 6. There's a lot of injuries. Obviously, no Embiid, no Simmons. If both of them were there, I'd make it 16, but none of them are there. 16 minus 4 is 12, and 12 minus 4 is 8. So I'd make the Sixers by 8 without those two players. And in Sacramento at Oklahoma City, no injuries on either side. So I would make that line 10.5. So my best bet's going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder minus the 6.5 at home against Sacramento. I think they're the better team. I don't get the Kings obsession unless if somebody's injured. So give me the Oklahoma City Thunder minus 6.5 at home against the Sacramento Kings. That's it for the week on the podcast. I have a lot going on tomorrow, so I cannot do a show. That's why I had to do every weekend thing on today's show. I'll be back Monday recapping everything from the weekend. The conference tournaments start on Monday, so maybe I'll be back on Sunday night previewing some conference tournaments. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend, everybody.